on. Alrighty, hello everybody. My name is Sample. I am a TASer of this game. I have been for a couple of years, and if my couch wants to introduce themselves, they may.
Go ahead.
I'm barely Alec.
And I'm Mr. Shasta.
Alrighty, perfect. And before we get this run started, I know nothing's going on screen right now. I do want to talk very briefly about what a TAS is. I know Bobby already did that, but just want to run through it real quick again. So for the past couple of years, I have been scripting this game. It is a TAS is effectively a scripted speedrun. So I say, for example, I tell Kirby, on this frame, do this exact action. On these frames, do this exact sequence of actions. And I can have a computer play those inputs back in real time to basically do things that are not humanly possible in any game. And I decided to do it with Kirby Superstar Ultra, one of my favorite games of all time. And now, without further ado, I think it's time for us to begin. I would like a countdown from the audience here. So let's start us off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Fast. Alrighty. So, Shasta, you want to give a quick rundown on what any percent means in this game?
Yeah, so 8% is kind of based off of the 8% for Kirby Superstar, where you unlock the credits and then wishes. In this case, though, we're trying to unlock basically every single mode that involves Kirby for the most part. That's not an arena mode or anything. So we're going through the main 6 minus the arena from Superstar, and then also beat Revenge of the King.
Yeah.
Revenge of the King, rather.
And the very first sub-game we have here is Spring Breeze. We get Beam. That's our very first ability. Beam is kind of trash in this game, however. We only get it here because we can kill an upcoming mini-boss very, very quickly with it. In order to get an actual good ability, we're going to have to do the first of a trick that we're going to do many, many times, and that's a mix. By inhaling 2 enemies at the same time, we can get whatever ability we want. And in this case, I want Ninja, because Ninja is pretty dang good in the TAS. Oh, yeah. So Ninja's best move is the one you just saw right there. That's Dive Kick. The Dive Kick moves you very, very quickly, diagonally down. And there we go. Wispy's dead already. Mm-hmm. We're plowing through him. But yeah, that's the thing about Dive Kick. What makes it so cool is that you can cancel the Dive Kick with a puff. And so we can chain those together to do some really silly looking movement through some of these rooms. Oh, and this room's one of my favorites. I go up and down, and then I'm in there, man.
And they're like swimwear.
Oh, yeah. Here we grab some invincibility candy. It's kind of like a star in Mario. It makes you invincible, but that is not really the part we're looking for. We want to kill that boss really, really quick, of course. And then you also move twice as fast, or approximately, with invincibility candy, which is pretty dang good.
It's not as never a Kirby game, but this one, you just move so fast with it.
No, yeah, it's incredible. Just as fast as that boss fight was.
Oh, yeah, see you there.
So at the very beginning of that boss fight, you might have noticed I actually threw a knife at the girl on the right there, right before the fight started. And that knife is frame perfect and sub-pixel perfect. And that was just barely enough to get that boss dead real quick. And now we have just a bit more ninja movement. We can probably read off a couple donations if we have them, Bobby.
Absolutely. We have a $100 donation from Al that says, Kirby Superstar is my favorite game ever. So many fond memories of playing it co-op with my brothers as kids. Can't wait to see it beaten by a robot.
You betcha. And right here, right there, that was one of Ninja's other moves. It's called the counter. It's pretty good for vertical movement. That is actually the last time that we will be seeing Ninja's counter, unfortunately. There goes Kracko, by the way.
Goodbye, Kracko.
One of my favorite parts about this game. Go for it.
It was cool.
No, yeah, it was. And King Dedede is going to be just as cool, don't worry. But one of my favorite parts about this game is how many abilities you have to use in order to go as fast as possible. So right here, actually, because it's the end of the sub-game, we're going to get rid of Ninja. And we're not going to be seeing it for a very long while afterwards. And there goes Dedede, by the way. Wah.
Bye, King Dedede.
Get him off my screen. And we're going to be moving on to the next sub-game, which uses completely different abilities. So we're going to have a completely new moveset.
And you also have to soft reset in each game mode too. That's an important thing for the speedrun. Otherwise, you have to watch cutscene the whole time. That's pretty slow.
No, yeah, every sub game for some reason they have like a minute-long cutscene credit sequence right at the end. But we can skip it by resetting the game.
Added just in Super Ultra too.
No, yeah. Don't know why they did that. Here we are in Gourmet Race. It's the shortest sub-game by far. We just have to race against King Dedede here in 3 racetracks. And we don't have any abilities for the first 2 tracks, so this is definitely a good time for another quick donation.
We have a $20 donation from Sunny that says, I'm so excited for the Kirby TAS run. I know it's going to be an amazing showcase.
You betcha.
Love the drift right there. That's good.
Oh yeah, you turn around right at the end there. It doesn't waste any time, and DDD moonwalks over the finish line. One thing that you might notice throughout this entire run, and this is something you're going to see a lot in Gourmet Race because we're moving very quick. Whenever we're moving quickly in the air and we want to conserve that momentum, we actually puff backwards. And I'll be honest, I have no idea why, but that is the fastest way to conserve aerial momentum. So that's why, for example, with Ninja, I puffed backwards in the air every single time I canceled a dive kick. It's just because it's really good at conserving momentum.
Ooh, this is a little different from real time, right? You normally go up that ladder there until you get right across here, but instead, in TAS, you just go down below.
No, yeah, and that's actually a very new development within the last couple months. There we go. Symbio, another fantastic TASer of this game, helped with a couple parts of this run, and that was one of the big developments he had. So right here, we're going to see a new ability. You might think we get Jet, but no, we're actually going with Wing here. Wing's best attribute is the fact that you can go in the air at the same speed as you can go on the ground. So that's why we want it here. But we also want it because we can do a nifty little trick called dive bomb cancels, and that's what you're seeing right there.
Look at that.
Oh, baby. So dive bomb cancels are the signature Wing move in this game. So dive bomb, if you don't know, is a move of Wing's that goes in a loop and then goes downward. But what makes it so cool in this game is that you can cancel the dive bomb at any point in that loop. And so if you cancel it right at the top,
We finished. There it is.
yeah, there
like
it is.
that.
That's Gourmet
Going
Race.
further.
That's Gourmet Race, by the way. But yeah, if you cancel it right at the top of the loop and then chain it again, then you can go up so insanely quickly. And that is something that only a TAS can really do because you have to mash the dive bomb button on every other frame.
So in the first place, we have to go through Diamond Blade, Great Kick Offensive, and Gourmet Race to unlock Revenge of Midnight. So we can do them in any order, really. That's where we're going to Great Kick Offensive next.
Oh yeah, and Great Kick Offensive in 100%, usually you have to grab all the treasures, but because this is any percent, we don't have to. We can just zoom straight through it, and this is one of the fastest sub-games as a result. Here we're actually going to do another mix, but we're mixing for invincibility, not an ability, because we actually just want to get Wing again here. And here we're going to use DBCs, which are dive bomb cancels, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Here we're going to use DBCs in a pretty fun way. We're going to be schmooving throughout the entire thing with horizontal DBCs.
Yeah.
Turns out, also, by the way, see ya, bonkers. Anyway,
See ya.
See ya. Had to do that. Yeah, you can clap for that. Yeah, but horizontal dive bomb cancels, it's the exact same concept, but if you cancel them just a little bit faster, then you can go horizontally, and that is absolutely not RTA viable.
Can't confirm.
You can
Berk ones, yes. Horizontal, no.
Here we grab Jet and Shasta. You have a chance to talk about Jet, your favorite ability.
Jet is used for most of this run, real time, I would say, but it's used not a lot in the stats, surprisingly enough. That's a quick fatty whale as well, Shasta fatty whale.
Oh, yeah.
So Jet, you run and then like press jump and then B and you go across the screen just like this. That's used for a lot of this because it's good consistent damage. Plus, it's really good at like just doing a lot of damage using the Jet explosion move right in front of them. And also the suplex, which you might see at some point in this task as well.
You definitely will.
Absolutely. It just does a lot of damage. It's really good and very versatile power. My favorite power in all the Kirby series, honestly. It's so much fun using every game it's in.
Oh, man.
Which is only 3 of them.
I had to break the news because they were getting rid of it instantly.
Bye-bye.
Here we go ahead and grab Wheel and then make a helper out of it. That's one of the big mechanics in this game. You can make helpers, and most of them are absolutely useless because they're controlled by AI and they're just so trash. The Wheel guy, on the other hand, is so good. You can jump on him and ride on top of him to basically access one of the fastest abilities in the entire game. But what makes it so good is that Kirby can jump off at any time and have whatever ability he wants. Like Hammer, for example. So Hammer is one of the best abilities for killing bosses, and so we can just plow through this guy without even worrying about it. Check out this wizard face. The wheel actually helps me a little bit. There he goes.
Very nice.
So yeah, right now we have basically the best of both worlds. We have the hammer for the boss fights, and then we have the wheelie for all of the space in between. So it's really, really nice. And while we're zooming along with wheelie, we definitely have time for a couple more donations.
All right, we have a $100 donation from Fierce Wolf saying, time to kick this TAS up to the speed of Curb. Let's go. Love y'all, GDQ. And we can always use more less than threes. Let's get that all hearts incentive for Celeste.
Got castle skip right here. Castle skip.
Oh.
Skip. Hey, there it is.
There it is. That's all it takes, baby.
Yeah.
Can you do that in real time?
No.
Thankfully, yes. So hard, though.
Oh, man. Thank goodness we got out of there, man. All right, we can definitely do one more donation before our boss.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Larry FT saying the real question is, can you beat Kirby Superstar Ultra without jumping?
Ooh. That's going to be a tough one. Unfortunately, I think our TAS guy has failed a couple times. DBCs, he is failing every other frame. I don't know if he really meant to do that. So here we're up on Wham Bam, the final boss of the Great Cave Offensive, and because we still have Hammer, he's just going to go down just like the rest of them. Right there, I actually take a damage boost, so I can slip in 2 hammer attacks right there.
Yeah, yeet!
And then slap him right there.
And now we're just leaving.
Now we're just leaving. We have time for 1 or 2 more donations before we get to our next subgame.
All right, we have a $100 donation from Huffing Dude saying, I see a TAS run, I donate. Since you not only have to know how to do the speed run, but program for a computer to be able to do it, this always blows my mind. And we have a $50 donation from Duck King saying, Kirby has had such an impact on my life since the very first Kirby's Dream Land on Game Boy, and I believe to this day that is one of the most influential games ever made. I'm forever thankful to Sakurai-san for gifting us with our favorite Hungry Puffball, and I'm run in person live in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this traffic from the TAS right here is actually used in real time now. It's one of the few things from this TAS we actually incorporate in the real-time runs too.
The real-time runs can't really keep.
Yeah.
So here we actually get a brand new ability, another one. Like I said, the ability diversity is insane in this game. We grab Parasol, which is so unbelievably fast. I don't know why they made it like
so
this.
Cool. I love Parasol in this game.
They made it insane.
Go.
I don't know why they did it, but the forward dash is just so unbelievably stupid. And obviously we also have invincibility candy here, which just lets us plow through these levels. However, we will be seeing new abilities in the second stage. We just have Parasol because it was immediately available, which is so unbelievably nice. We have 1 more donation before we move on to the biggest skip of the game.
All right, I will try to get this quick. We have a $5,000 donation from Fangamer. All right. Hey everybody, Fangamer here. We can't believe it's the final day of SGDQ 2025. This week zipped by. We're looking forward to seeing all the amazing runs today up through the finale of Deltarune. We have an extra special item to commemorate this run, the finale game pin, #1 rated salesman 1997 featuring Spamton. You can find it and other amazing merch in Fangamer's SGDQ 2025 collection where 100% of the profits get turned into donations like this that support everything.
Yeah.
So that right there was the biggest skip in the game.
Yeah.
We skipped an entire auto-scroller by getting Beam and Bomb, the combination of which allows us to do a damage boost and clip through a ceiling there, which is really, really nice. It's one of the biggest, like I said, it's one of the biggest skips in the game. It's also one of the only glitches in this game are those wing zips.
Yeah, and wing zips are also only a thing in Japanese versions of the game. In real-time runs, we use the Korean version because it's a little bit faster for some attacks, especially computer virus, but for attacks, especially Japanese is used because of the wing zips.
Yeah, and wing zips are not RTA viable because they are so many RNG checks in a row. Every single time Kirby takes damage in this game, it is random whether or not he loses his ability. And so wing zips requiring damage boosts are not very good for RTA runners. So now we have Wheelie yet again, and we now have it in combination with Wing, and it allows us to do some really, really nice movement. Wing, very good for vertical movement. Wheelie, very good for horizontal movement. And up here, I actually do, I just said wing zips are one of the only glitches, but here's actually another one. It's what I like to call the Wheelie puppet. Basically, whenever you jump off Wheelie, there's exactly 1 frame where whatever you input will be inputted by Wheelie, so you can kind of control him. And I use that here to make him teleport to me early, so I can blast off really, really quick. And that's something that Symvio actually discovered. So
that's awesome.
Big on him, yeah. And while we beat up this last boss, we can definitely do 1 more donation.
I do love Coco Cave a lot, though. Really cool level in general.
Oh, yeah?
Right.
Go for it.
I'll make this one quick, I promise. $50 donation from Drift and Soul saying, let's go sample my Tasser and Challenge Run Goat. Congrats on getting this run on the big stage.
Oh, yeah. So this is one of my favorite levels in the entire TAS. Like I said, Wheelie very good for horizontal movement and Wing very good for vertical movement. And here, it's just such a perfect demonstration of the best of both worlds. And
Agreed.
Yeah, here
Lock
goes
great
Wing.
horizontal vertical rooms.
Oh man, here he goes. Here we actually access the secret path, get some more invincibility candy. I told you we're going to be getting this all the dang time throughout this run. And yeah, we can definitely do a couple more donations before we get to Dynablade, our final boss.
All right, we have a $50 donation from Envious saying, hey SGDQ, I played Kirby Superstar Ultra when I was 7 on my DSi Lite. Love this game and a huge shout out to Sample for working so hard on this speedrun. Love you all and let's get that all hearts incentive met. And we have a question for the couch. $5 donation from Sky McNair saying, I'm surprised to see this game run on the Japanese version.
Oh, yeah.
Most speedruns I've seen are run on the Korean version, so could the couch explain why the TAS is on Japanese versus Korean?
We just did a little bit ago, actually.
You betcha, yeah. So to recap, Korean has the fastest text scrolling. However, Japanese, being the first version of this game, has not patched out wing zips. Korean did patch it out. And because wing zips save so much time in a TAS, it's actually better for a TAS to use the Japanese version. So that's why that difference is there.
Also, cool thing is that with Invincibility Candy, your partner also keeps it too, so we're able to destroy some bosses with that, with Wheelie, funnily enough.
No, yeah, and speaking of destroying bosses, we mix for Jet here, not necessarily for movement, but because there's a pretty good quick kill here. Let's see it happen.
Bam.
There he goes. Down goes Dynablade with Jet's fully charged suplex move. We can take him down just like that. And with that, that's the end of the sub-game. Before we move on to our next one, we can definitely get 2 donations out, I would say.
All right, we have a $200 donation from Agile Vector saying, excited to see Kirby and let's go Mario Kart. That is the $2 million incentive. And we have a $50 donation from Lone Wolf that says, Kirby is peak. Can I get a pollo?
Pollo!
Pollo.
Y'all do it way better than I do. Thank you.
I have experience. I've done Kirby and stage 3 times.
I guess I'm not experienced enough. I don't know what I'm doing here. I thought I was the Kirby guy. So yeah, this is text scrolling, by the way. It is faster on Japanese still. It's not faster than Korean, I don't think. But it's still pretty dang
It's about
quick.
the same, I'd say.
Yeah, and here is Revenge of Meta Knight. So that dialogue is one of the aspects of this subgame. And we're going to be starting off by mixing for Ninja again, the grand return.
Woo!
Let's go.
Ninja's so cool in this game.
No, yeah, it's fantastic. And one of the big reasons why Ninja saves time at the very beginning of the subgame in particular is because we can skip this elevator just like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. And this upcoming boss fight actually isn't a boss fight, it's an auto-scroller, so we can read through a couple donations, if there are some.
There are some. We have a $500 donation from Anonymous saying, Kirby Superstar was one of the only 6 SNES games I had as a kid, and I think it took me a good month to get all the way through the Great Cave Offensive. Amazing to see TAS complete it in about 0.0001% of the time it took me. Go TAS, go! Woo!
No, yeah. And anyone donating, donate the chest that you had the most trouble with as a kid. Mine was the suit of armor in that one big vertical room with all the wing guys. For some reason, it was just blind to my child brain. I couldn't find it.
And we do have a $50 donation from Anonymous that just says, Pollo, pollo, pollo.
All right, so here we mix for some more invincibility, and that is very, very good for Ninja. And the thing about Ninja is that we can actually conserve some of the aerial momentum through this water, and it allows us to just blast straight through there.
So cool.
No, yeah, it's fantastic, and that's another one of the big reasons we want Ninja at the beginning here. And it's another auto-scroller. We can definitely name off a few more donations.
Revenge of Meta Knight in particular has a lot of auto-scrollers, so yeah.
We have a $10 donation from Kuros that says, I love seeing people go fast and seeing tool-assisted speedruns go even faster. Yes, please, let's see more.
One of the favorite parts of like auto-scrollers and TAS is just like the characters moving around and just messing with as much as they can. All the swag strats, it's great. So look out for that, I guess, during auto-scrollers.
You betcha.
We have another $25 donation from Anonymous that just says, Pollo.
Yeah. Let's get a pollo from the audience every time we get a pollo donation. Why don't
Pollo.
Oh. Alrighty, so up here we're going to do another ability swap. We're going to be grabbing Wing, and the reason we want Wing is because it's really especially good in some of these upcoming rooms and against some of these upcoming bosses.
Damn.
Specifically, the dive bomb's really, really good. Not necessarily against one Wispy, it's just sort of, spamming it on them, but with two Wispies, oh, you betcha, baby.
Ooh.
Fantastic. Alrighty, and we can name off one more donation while we're moving on to our next stage.
All right, a $50 donation from Jolly D. Onbury saying, a Kirby haiku, Kirby's gaping maw. Enemies and food alike, nothing will escape.
Beautiful.
You betcha.
Get some snaps in my eyes on that one.
So this is, like I said, one of those rooms, not this room, but this room right here is one of the rooms where we want Wing. It's so vertical. There's so many vertical rooms in this game, which is just a field day for Wing. We can just dive bomb cancel straight through it. And of course, we got another boss, and it's another set of 2 of them, so you already know what's going on. Alrighty.
Got dive bombs, no cancels. That's what we got.
And we actually, I manipulated some RNG there. I say we as if I'm not the guy who made it. I manipulated some RNG there to have both those guys die in the exact same time in the exact same spot, and that way I can inhale both of them for a mix, which is pretty dang good. And right here, it's actually a weird bottleneck of this sub-game. We have to light this fuse in this cannon in order to blast off. So we're going to very briefly switch on over to fire, which is another extremely good ability in this game, but it's primarily just to light that fuse. And we can name one more donation while we're riding Dynablade into victory here.
All right, we have a $50 donation from Leicher that says, looking forward to the Mario 3 run and the Kirby TAS and Celeste and Mario 64 and Mario Kart and Deltarune. Man, today is packed. Thanks again for an awesome week of speedruns.
Yeah, so like I said, Fire, a very, very good ability. It's primarily because of its burning attack that you're seeing right there. And just very briefly, going to get some more invincibility because, of course, we do. But yeah, the burning attack is extremely good. It moves it very, very quickly. And then there's also that Fire Wheel, which you very briefly saw, and that we can use to conserve some of our momentum in the air. Unfortunately, we are going to have to get rid of Fire. Fire is going to have a chance to shine later in the run, don't worry. But we're getting rid of it here so we can hail these guys and kill them real dang quick. And now we're going to be running through this room with no ability, and we can't really do too much to go fast.
You go to the right there just a little bit to spawn the elevator down, so it just moves the bombs to like be at the top when you get there.
And right here, we actually jump on top of the elevator. For some reason that I don't know, getting on top of specifically that elevator is faster. But every other elevator, it's usually not fast to get on top of it. I'm not really sure, like I said. Here we're going to go ahead and get another ability, and this time we're getting Parasol. You betcha. And Parasol we're going to be sticking with throughout the majority of the rest of the sub-game because it's just so fast, man.
Parasol's so cool.
Check out how fast it kills this guy, man. Get him off my screen, dude.
Get out of here.
Get him off my screen. So we can definitely read off a couple donations while Parasol does its thing.
All right, we have a $10 donation from Kerbo that just says, Pollo.
Pollo.
And a $25 donation from Winslash that says, Pollo?
Pollo?
Maybe. If you ask nicely. So actually one of the things here, sorry about that. One of the things here that I do is I actually glide with Parasol. Parasol's glide is really, really good in this game for a lot of really, really weird reasons. It not only gives you a ton of speed, but it also allows you to reverse your speed in the other direction. And that's something that I do secretly a ton with Parasol. And there's actually an upcoming auto-scroller that we're going to be seeing that just has, a fantastic demonstration of all Parasol's capable of doing. It's one of my favorite abilities, if you couldn't tell. So, and before we get to that point, we can definitely read off a couple more donations.
All right, well, we have a question here, a $50 donation from Danger McAwesome that says, is Wing Kirby a bird?
I mean, I was actually having a discussion about this the other day with one of my colleagues. I feel like Kirby, even without wings, a bird.
It's true.
He flies around, he eats stuff. Those are two things birds do, yeah. So here we got the Heavy Lobster auto-scroller. This is the one I was talking about, just moving and grooving with Wing because we got nothing better to do. So we can definitely read off a couple donations.
I remember like a while ago it was a thing to destroy all the blocks for us to reward our Super Ultra Speedrunner.
Well, of course, I have to.
You have to right here. You got it.
Oh, I got to get them?
You almost missed that
Two
one.
more. And we got it.
Nice. All right, like I said, a couple donations are great.
All right, well, we have a couple of donations that didn't have a comment. How about this $3,000 one from John Halsby to Doctors Without Borders? And a $1,000 donation from A Tall Shade of the Color Red. And a $1,000 donation from Hands of Blue. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
We have about $15,000 left on that Celeste All Hearts and
Already, wow.
Jeez, that's fast. Almost as fast
Almost
as
as fast.
Almost like a speedrunner or something. Got speed instead.
Oh, man. So here we're going to grab some more invincibility. And here, actually, the room after this is quite interesting. There used to be a big skip in it that I now skip. It's the skip, if you will. Basically, there's a button that we have to press, and we have to go up and down some elevators in order to press it. And it used to be the case that bringing a beam helper around allows us to skip that. It allows us to skip the elevator by hitting the button through the wall. But now it is a lot faster to not do that. And the reason is actually kind of interesting. It's because having a beam helper around slows you down so much that he wastes time overall. Even though he saves like 10 seconds there, he's so trash. He wastes time everywhere else.
And I also get more health too if you have a helper around, which is why when you do it in real-time runs a lot of time.
Exactly. So here, this fights the reactor core. It's actually kind of interesting. We can't deal damage to him normally. We have to deal damage to him through these lasers that he shoots. And because the lasers are his attack, the way we save time on this fight is by making those attacks go by faster. And the way we do that is by manipulating RNG, which is something I haven't even mentioned yet. Oh my God.
You've been doing it the whole time.
I've been doing that the whole stinking time. But yeah, manipulating RNG to make him attack really, really fast and then destroying all the attacks as soon as they happen. And I guess now there's an auto-scroller I can explain explain a little bit of what manipulating RNG actually means. So everything in this game is random. Absolutely everything. All the bosses, all of the enemies, whether or not the dust does this animation or this animation when you run around.
Even getting hit is random.
Yeah, getting hit, like I said, losing your ability, that's random.
Yeah.
However, you'll notice that the TAS is pretty dang lucky, and that's because I've been manipulating RNG this entire time, and that's only possible because you're able to specifically determine what inputs you want to do at certain times. And so if you do the exact same inputs at all times, then you get the exact same RNG, and so that's how you manipulate it. And for the remainder of this auto-scroller, we can definitely get some donations out there.
Well, first, I do want to announce for people that bought the virtual attendee badge on Fangamer, they have sold their 500, so they've been upgraded to foil. Every purchase of those are still available. Also supports MSF. We have a $25 donation from Tanglegut that says Pollo. Always Pollo.
Always Pollo.
Always Pollo.
So here, at the very end of that auto-scroller, we grabbed plasma off of a mix, and that's because we can kill these guys so unbelievably fast with them. We just swipe them across the screen.
Yeah, that's a strategy in Superstar right there, but it's also using this for the TAS because, you know, making a full charge plasma is nothing for a TAS.
No,
in real time,
not.
destroys my hands, but, you know.
And here we grab sword because we have to, and that's it. It just starts the fight as quickly as possible. You'll notice we actually don't really even use sword. We hit him twice, and then we manipulate a whole bunch of stars to kill him real dang fast. And then, of course, if you haven't played this game, don't worry. I have covered up Meta Knight's true identity.
Thank you.
No, Alrighty, and we have one final escape sequence with Meta Knight here. We get a Wheelie Rider. Fantastic. The game developers knew that we wanted this right at the end. And so while we're escaping this place, I think we can get out another donation.
All right, we have a $10 donation from Chaz ML that says, what's Kirby's favorite game? Puyo Puyo. And a $75 donation from Old Man Jable that says, what is Kirby's favorite fast food restaurant? Pollo Tropical.
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize this would be what this runs like. Alrighty, so next up we have Milky Way Wishes. It's probably the most unique sub-game outside of maybe Gourmet Race, but that one was only 2 minutes, so who cares? Milky Way Wishes is interesting. We don't have a copy ability. Instead, we have to find the abilities out in the wilderness. And what also makes it interesting is that we can choose what level we go to. And in RTA runs, they usually go to that cloud level we just passed.
Yeah, let's go right past it.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. We can go ahead and mix for wing here, which we're going to very briefly use to maybe go through a ceiling or two. I don't know. Make our way through, and we're going to make our way to fire. Like I said, this guy is a main character at some point because he is so fast, man. Fire, like I said, it has that burning, which is really, really good, but we also get to see the fire wheel right there. And like I said, we can conserve that momentum with the backwards puffs, which is really, really fast. And it just so happens to be slightly faster than Jet in Milky Way Wishes, which is really, really sweet. And while we're running through the rest of the stage, we can definitely get a donation in.
All right, we have a $25 donation from Shu Unit saying, my favorite Kirby ability is Yo-Yo. Love doing these moves. And a $50 donation from Draconic Rose says, had to donate during Superstar Ultra, game that made up the majority of my childhood. The true arena was my favorite part. Favorite ability is Wing.
Okay. Good on the wing guy.
Very good.
Wing guy's even pretty dang good.
Zips.
Wing guy's loving this run right now. Yo-Yo guy, I hate to break the news, man.
Sorry, Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo, we're not seeing it.
I will say something we'll be seeing soon with fire. Actually saw it in the last fight there is the fire inferno attack. If you hold down B and then press back for a while, it starts like, it just goes on fire and it does a lot of damage.
No,
you can't move out of it though, but yeah.
No, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, Fire's biggest weakness is the fact that it's not very good at killing bosses. That's its best boss killing move, if you will, but it takes so long to do.
The fire wheel's all right too, as you can see right here.
No, yeah. I mean, it's pretty sweet. I mean,
yeah.
I love Fire so much. I love all the abilities in this game. They did such a good job with it. Here I actually eject my ability and then use it to blast the Bonkers body there and grab Hammer here. And we're going to be using Hammer later on for some of the bosses because Hammer, as we've seen, pretty good against bosses. Fire, as we've also seen, not as good. So that is something that we're going to be switching between throughout this sub-game. And that's, I guess, something I didn't mention is that in Milky Way Wishes, once you grab the abilities, you can switch between them at any time. And so that's why we grabbed Hammer there for just 1 second. And it's because we want Hammer on this guy. And while we're beating him up, we can get a donation out there.
All right, we have a $50 donation from Ristar2 saying, the chest in the tower with all the wind where you have to get to the right side perplexed me for way too long. I popped off so hard seeing Sam on the schedule. Happy to add to the train. Oh, yo.
Yeah, that tower's pretty ridiculous.
That tower is absolutely ridiculous. Alrighty, so moving on here, we're going to be moving to the machine planet, and we're going to be using fire a whole lot more. So while we do that, we can definitely get some more donations in there.
Bro, how about this $10 donation from Lunchbag that just says, Puyo hype?
Ooh,
Pollo.
you betcha.
And we have a $101 donation from Riven said, second in-person GDQ and they keep getting better and better. I'm going to have to come back next year, keep the donations going, and trans rights.
Hell yeah.
You betcha. So right here during this button puzzle, I do something kind of funny. I actually shoot some air at some of these buttons because fire does not have a very good projection. Using the air to push those buttons early is pretty nifty. And then here also, I got some invincibility right at the beginning of the stage. We went so fast that we can actually use that invincibility on this mini-boss as well. Plow him down, switch to hammer for the heavy lobster yet again. Here he goes. Heavy lobster. There he goes.
Goodbye.
See a hammer as well. That's actually kind of an interesting thing. The reason I got rid of hammer there is because grabbing that star is actually fastest between our, three kind of abilities that we have, between hammer, fire, and having no ability. Having no ability is the fastest for collecting that star because you have access to the inhale, which is kind of weird but kind of interesting.
Yeah, if you don't do that, actually bonk to the ground right there, which loses a couple seconds.
No, yeah, because the cutscene doesn't start until Kirby is right in the middle of the screen, so we have to force Kirby to go into the middle of the screen there. And here we're actually going to be grabbing our last ability that we're going to want in Milky Way Wishes. We're only getting 3 of them out of the 19 there are. Because it's any percent, we don't have to get all of them. If it was 100%, we'd have to get them all, and that's got its own set of quirks.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a detour out of the way here before going to the boss itself, but it is worth it because Wing, of course, as you've seen so far, very good in the TAS.
I promise you, Wing is saves so much time.
It does. It will save so much later. You'll see.
Yeah, and here I actually opt to switch to fire as opposed to hammer to kill this guy. And the reason is because fire, pretty good at killing that guy, as you can see. Went down in like 2
Goodbye,
seconds.
Kracko.
But it's also because switching abilities is kind of slow sometimes. So there's a lot of time save in this game built around figuring out when it's worth switching abilities and figuring out when it's worth just rolling with what you have. And while we do this grass stage, we got time for a couple donations.
All right, well, we have another question. I love it when the donors do my job for me. We have a $50 donation from Data Chicken saying, Kirby made me think of another dono question. What is your favorite food? Mine is strawberries, just like the ones we'll find in Celeste. Here's to getting all the hearts. We have about $12,000 left to meet that all hearts incentives in Celeste.
Oh my goodness. Well, my favorite food is probably anything that would give me a wing, because we're going to go ahead and use a wing here.
Well,
we need
very good.
Wing, very, very good.
Good answer, good answer.
Wing,
Chicken wings, baby.
You betcha. Oh, actually, hold on a moment. So, wing we swap there. Instead of hammer, because I'm on my hammer strike apparently, we go ahead and switch to wing there because it's actually faster. Like we said, killing 2 trees, very, very good for wing. And as we move into our water stage, this is actually, I was talking to Shasta before this run, this is actually one of the main reasons that fire is faster than jet in Milky Way Wishes is because of the water level, which maybe you wouldn't have expected, but it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, in real-time runs, all we get is Jet and Hammer here for the entirety of Milky Way Wishes, because Jet, of course, very, very good, but it does have the caveat of having its own, floats, whereas Kirby's float with fire is just normal float, so
yeah,
it's really good going through wire.
This is one of my favorite rooms. I intentionally take damage. It's one of the only times I do damage boosts for the speed you gain, because you can get hit in the water and then transfer that speed into the air, which is really, really interesting. And then I can also do a kind of similar thing here.
And whoop. Very good.
Where you just puff up and for some reason it just makes you go up. It's pretty sweet. So here we have a kind of long, kind of boring water maze. We can definitely get some donations in there.
Absolutely. We have a $1,000 donation from an anonymous donor who left no comment, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Anonymous.
And we do have a $50 donation from Decaphone and O'Deary that just says, bet we can make it to 2 million trans rights.
Oh, yeah, we definitely can. Let's
2
do
million
it.
gets us Mario
100%.
Kart World.
Can definitely get a couple more in there.
All right. We have a... let's see here. I had some. We have a $100 donation from Deuce Mongoose that says $100 for a shot at that Chrono Trigger painting. They were showing that in the prize segment, this beautiful Chrono Trigger painting. Ooh. So remember, that's the minimum donation to get into that prize.
This room right here is a very trigger room in real time, especially.
Yeah. So
if you get hit by one of the electric blocks, you just fall into the pit and it's over.
let's see if TAS gets it.
We're good. Okay. Nothing to worry about.
One of my favorite parts about that room is that we're racing the wind particles themselves to the end of the room. Fire just goes so unbelievably fast. Unfortunately, we are going to be switching off of fire. Usually you have to hop in one of those mine carts to hit these pegs, but Hammer's able to do it itself, and it's a little bit quicker. We can do that hammer spin for a big speed boost. And then we're going to be switching to Wing for the remainder of the level portion because
Yeah.
Wing is really good here.
In real time, it's not faster to do this, but with wing zips, whoop, we're good.
Yeah, so in RTA runs,
it's slightly faster than original Superstar, actually, funnily enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think in RTA runs, they hop on that warp star there to take it through.
Yep.
But fortunately, we have Wing, and it's very, very fortunate in this room. We can,
Whoop.
whoa, there we go.
That saves a lot of time, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, that saves the time it takes to get it.
Pretty much.
And this is one of my favorite boss fights in the entire run. Every single phase of this boss fight, we're going to be using a different ability. And that's because during the phases, abilities appear on the side, and that's completely random. So throughout this entire fight, I'm manipulating RNG to have different abilities appear at certain times. Right here, I have Suplex, which we haven't seen before. And the reason I want Suplex is because he can do this to the Great Dragon. And see ya.
Damn.
And while I was doing that, I did manipulate more RNG to get Stone, which we'll see why I did that 1 million years later. But for now, in paying tribute to the million Mario runs that are happening surrounding this run, I decided to go ahead and toss in an extra treat. Just for you guys.
There it is.
There he is.
I know that guy. It's Mario.
Wait a minute. That's Super Mario.
Yo.
So if you don't know, the stone transformations are also random. And that's actually the most random thing in the entire game. So the single event that I had to manipulate the most RNG for saved no time. Good job, me. Woo! I'm stupid. So here we have another auto-scroller. It's just us chilling out in the Starship section, playing some Toho for a bit. So if you want to read off some donations, you definitely can.
Absolutely. We have a $25 donation from Lee's Knees saying, I double-checked and I can confirm that the definition of a bird is flies around and eats things.
You betcha.
And a $50 donation from Akira Katayama says, I am a simple man. I see Kirby, I donate for Kirby. Let's hit 2 million and earn that Mario Kart Warudo run.
Alrighty. So, by the way, the Starship section, very, very unique in this game. You're not going to see it in this because I decided to go pacifist, do a pacifist challenge there for a moment and not shoot any of those enemies because I thought it'd be cool to dodge through them. But these shots with the Starship, we're going to have a boss coming up. These shots are really, really weird to optimize. They shoot 3 bullets, but you have to make sure that all 3 bullets land at different times in order to maximize your damage output. And then also this boss fight is really, really weird. You'll see I waste some time in the beginning here doing some nonsense, and that's because destroying that first module actually doesn't do anything. The only way to save time in this boss fight is by destroying the 2nd and 4th guys really, really quick, and then specifically skipping those things, and then killing that guy at the perfect time to destroy that module off screen. And the reason is because destroying that last module that I stalled on for a bit is what makes the screen start turning around and going backwards. So that is a very, very quick fight. Mm-hmm. And then finally, we have our last boss fight, Marks. This is not our last boss fight. I lied to you.
Of this mode.
Of this mode, yeah.
Yeah, our friend Marks, of course. Wouldn't betray us.
And here we'll see why we got Stone. It's pretty good.
That's it?
And then we flex on him. Absolutely. And then now we're running into the very last sub-game of the run. This is Revenge of the King.
Is that just for Superstar Ultra?
Yeah, just for Superstar Ultra. And this is actually the goal of any percent, is to unlock this sub-game and complete it. And so we're knocking on the door to the end of the run, man. At the very, very beginning here, we don't have enough space to mix or anything. So we're actually going to go for Cutter a little bit. And it's very, very brief, but it actually turns out to be one of the best abilities for this room in particular, because that downward dash is insane. So it's pretty sweet. But then up here, we are going to mix. And what's interesting about this one is that we actually double dip on it a little bit. I'm going to inhale these guys to get invincibility first, and then I run back and forth to respawn both of the enemies to inhale them both at the same time again to get wing this time. And that's just because having invincibility is so good for this upcoming mini-boss. And yeah, while we kill that upcoming mini-boss, we can definitely get some more donations.
Absolutely. We have a $500 donation from Anonymous that says, Poyo!
Poyo.
And $50 donation from Mech Mace that says, Kirby is always a poyable.
All right. That was a little bit of a stretch. I don't know.
We got there.
Not gonna lie about that one. So here we have another tree to beat up. I don't know why Kirby likes beating up trees. Actually, wait a minute. That's another definition of bird. He beats up trees.
Ooh.
Hold on a moment. He's a woodpecker. Now we're figuring it out, actually.
There it is.
So we packed that wood a little bit, and we're going to move on to the next stage. We have time for one more donation before we switch abilities again.
All right, we have a $25 donation from Superstar that says, love MSF and love Kirby. Together, they just work. Poyo!
Poyo! Excellent. So here we have one more vertical room for Wing to fly through before we get rid of it and never see it again. We're going to go ahead and switch to Shasta's favorite ability, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Finally, after Jet being benched the entire run, we get to play Jet for the majority of this sub-game.
Woo!
Jet's pretty dang sweet.
Yeah, we love Jets.
Yeah. So Jet's great because it has really, really good consistent movement. As you can see, I'm just sort of hanging out at the ceiling there. But it also has really, really good burst movement. But as you can see, as I fall here, I charge up a Jet boost so I can blast right back up. And I do that a lot throughout this sub-game because that burst movement is the fastest horizontal and vertical movement in the game.
In particular, you have to like hit the very edge of the hitbox of all these enemies in order to not actually get hit yourself when using Jet. So like the movement here is, to say the least, very precise.
No, yeah, definitely very, very hard for an RTA runner. And up here, we're going to have another boss fight, and this is actually an interesting thing. This boss fight is almost fastest with Jet, so it's a pretty dang good quick kill. Let's see it happen. And yo. Oh, there he goes.
Bam!
Line him up just like that.
Wait, I blinked.
Oh my God. All right. So while we're moving around with Jet in the next stage, we can definitely get some more donations in.
All right, with a $25 donation from Hunta saying, I run a candy store. Kirby came to my store, ate all my lollipops, and then zipped out the door at light speed. I am baffled. And we have a $50 donation from Pollo saying, a haiku. Pollo, pollo, po. Po, pollo, pollo, pollo. Pollo, pollo, yo.
Many are saying this.
Many people have been saying this.
So such cases.
This upcoming mini boss is kind of funny. I kill him, and you might think, oh, he's kind of killing him kind of slow. And the reason for that is because when his death animation starts, depends on the little circle things orbiting around him. So even if I landed that last hit slightly faster or slightly sooner, those are synonyms, by the way. Slightly faster or slightly slower, then that fight actually would have ended at the exact same time. It's kind of like a bus stop if you think about it.
True. So imagine a bus.
Yeah. So we're going to be blasting through here, and we're going to be killing Kracko as our last guy. And similarly to the last mini-boss, you might think I'm killing him kind of slow, but that's because actually every time I hit him, he stops in the air. He stalls for a little bit, and I don't want him to do that because I want him to spawn that enemy as soon as possible so I can beat him up. And then here we have our second Starship section. This is another boss, and this time, because that last Starship boss was a little bit of an auto-scroller, it was a little bit scripted, here we can get a better idea of its damage output. And there we go.
Bye-bye. In particular for Capital, you want to destroy them in the bottom right of the screens because that's how they fade out. Once all their particles and the body, of course, is gone, then the screen transitions to here.
So in other words, I could have killed him even faster. But I decided to stall on him so he gets closer. Actually, I think it's a she in this case.
That's right, yeah.
Alrighty, we can definitely read off some more donations as we're ramming through these mini bosses.
All right, we have a $25 donation from Sailor Soapbox saying, I have a donation to spend for a hero who's shaped like a friend. I'm talking about Kirby, who's not like a Furby. This limerick's done, so hit send.
The limerick, I like that.
Very nice. So up here, we're going to do our last invincibility mix. Actually, I don't know if it's the last, I forget.
One of the last, for sure.
It is the second to last now that I'm remembering.
It's the last in the RTA spirit, at least.
Yeah, that's true.
It kills a lot of runs. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, but it's insane that RTA runners do invincibility mixes because it seems like such a small time save, but they save so much time when you have mini bosses to move through.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can definitely read off another donation while we're going through here.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Willis the Penguin saying, Pollo Pollo, my daughter wanted to donate for her favorite pink puffball. Awesome run so far. Pollo!
Pollo! Excellent. So here we have two fire lines that we have to beat up, and this is the most annoying boss fight in the entire game.
Agreed.
To TAS. It's also, I guess, to do RTA. You have to beat both of them up, and there is so much randomness in here, and you might think, oh, you're a TASer. You can't care about randomness. Brother. I'm the one sitting there for 5 hours straight trying to manipulate that RNG to make it go perfectly. So very, very tough. And speaking of very, very tough, we have our last mini boss of the run coming up here. It's Waddle Dee. Everyone keep an eye out for this guy. There he goes. And now we finally have our final boss, King DDD. He's here. He makes the big mistake of giving us Hammer at the end, so I don't know what he was thinking. He should have given us Yo-Yo.
For real.
If he wanted a chance. And time is coming up very, very soon here as we land our last hit on DDD, and time.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go. There he goes. And that is the end of the Kirby Superstar Ultra. Any percent tool-assisted speedrun as we walk. DDD walk very, very sadly, lamenting his loss to Kirby, who he had no chance against, if we're going to be honest. I do want to give exactly one shout-out. Big shout-out to Simvio. Like I said, helped a lot with this task. Actually, helped in a couple spots. And also helped big on inspiring me to come back to TAS this game after so long. Such a fantastic time doing this. I love making TASs, and I love presenting them even more for a good cause. Oh my goodness. And then Shasta, I know you wanted to do some shout-outs.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out some of the runners of this game as well too. Shout-outs to Wakaza, shout-outs to Clomi, shout-outs to Taco, who all pushed this game very far. Taco got the first sub 2 hour run at 100% recently. Clomi and Wakaza have pushed this 80% for this game down below 50 minutes and well below that that too. Further than I thought I could even go, honestly. It's really cool. Yeah, shout-outs to Kitten as well too. A good friend of mine got me into running this game myself as well. Shout out to Frank Glitch, found a lot of stuff in this game too, and has optimized the crap out of real-time runs of this game too. Yeah, shout outs to everyone who's contributed to this game. This is actually the first time the Kirby run has been shown on the main stage. It's always been Meta Ultra for this game before this, so really awesome to see us, to say the least. I'm very happy to be part of this run. And thank you very much for having me.
That is unbelievable, because this is my favorite Kirby game by
It's so good. It's amazing. I love this game.
Shot. So if you haven't played this game, absolutely go and play it. Like I said, you didn't get spoiled on who Meta Knight is. You got to go and find out who he is.
For yourself. You
so
in that mode right there.
Absolutely go play this game. It is fantastic. And that is all from me.